Hey everybody, welcome back. So in this section we are going to describe the microservices architectural style and we will navigate through the advantages and we will take the summary of the microservices architectural style versus the monolithic architectural style. Okay, so let's start. What is a microservice? Is a service-oriented architecture composed of loosely coupled elements that have bounded context. What does that mean? Service-oriented means that service we have a many services that communicates with each other over the network. And the loosely coupled means that you can update the service independently. As we said in the microservice, we have a many services, each of them independent of any other service. You can update them. You can release them without affecting any other microservice. So updating one service does not require you updating any other service because all of them are independent of each others. And bounded context means that the microservice is self-contained, so you can update the code of microservice without knowing the internal implementation of any other microservice. So, in case you are working on microservice A and calling microservice B, so by that you are expecting microservice B will give you an response or output X, Y, Z. So you are expecting that output, and based off that you are completing or continuing your code in microservice without knowing the internal implementation of microservice B. You just expecting that output from that microservice, and based off that you are continuing your code. Okay, for now we have the benefits and the advantages of microservice architectural style. First, we have easy to scale each microservice independently. So, as we said, microservice we have a set of services. Each of them are independent of each other. Each of microservice has its own code and focused on a single business or a functionality logic. So all of these microservices are independent of each other. So it's very easy to scale each of them independently. Also, we have rapid build and test and release cycle. New releases in the microservice takes a minute. On the contrary of a monolithic architectural style, new releases might take 2 or 3 or a week of business days. So this is a very big advantage to the microservice that new release just take minutes. Ooh. Next, we have clear ownership and accountability. As we said, we have a microservice, and each of them assigned to a separate team. So, in case you need to add new features, you know where to go. That microservice belongs to that team. So. We have a clear ownership and accountability in the microservice style. Next, we have easier to maintain and get familiar with the microservice as the code is very small and focused on a set of functionality or a separate functionalities. So the maintain and getting familiar with that code will be very easy. On the contrary of a monolithic application, we have the whole code of the system as a single unit. So, next, developers are free to choose whatever technology stack. So, as we said, in a microservice, you can implement or adopt any new technology stack based on the service requirement or the team requirement. So, if the team is experienced with PHP, let's adopt PHP in that service. If the team is experienced in Node.js, let's take it and work with it in that service. So you are free to choose whatever technology stack you need in microservice. On the contrary of monolithic application, the whole team should have the language that the project started with. So also next, short time to add new features because the microservices are focused. So in case we need to add the new features, we know where we have to go and where to add our code, and the understanding and the implementation of that code will be very small and will be in very short time. So it will be very easy to and in short time to add new features to the microservices, increase in agility, and finally we have happy customers because of the new features implemented in a fast way and in a short time. So this is so far the benefits of microservice. Let's navigate to next. We have the summary of microservice versus monolithic application. Okay, in case of complexity, the monolithic application, the complexity will grow with the system size and the number of features. As the system increases, the complexity will increase. But in microservice, simpler as work is focused on single feature or a component, agile development and deployment. In monolithic architecture, we have a lot of team synchronization is required in order to release with the new features. But in microservice, easy to parallelize feature within teams and microservice and quick and independent deployments we have. In case of reliability, in monolithic application, one unstable service or functionality can bring the whole system down. But in microservice, more reliable because we have independent services. So in case we have failure in one service, so this is not mandatory to break the whole system like in the monolithic applications. But in case of microservice, we need to monitoring and orchestration orchestration mechanism in order to ensure the stability and resilience of the system. So we will talk about these 2 points later on. Scalability and performance. In case of monolithic application, hard in maintaining and upgrading and adding any new features because the code are one piece, so one feature might affect others. But in case of microservice, independently running component, it is very easy to develop new features without affecting others. Scaling out can be done on per service basis. Technology diversity in monolithic application. Lack of technology diversity, we cannot employ or adopting any specific technology for specialized needs. But in the microservice style, it is easy to support any new technology for specific features. There is no coupling that forces specific technologies. In case of frequent and easy releases, in case of monolithic applications, it is very difficult to do easy and frequent releases. All features in different areas should be done to do the release cycle and should be tested as a single unit. But in case of microservice updating the related update, you need just to update the related service and release it once it's done. So it's very simple to go with the microservice. So far, we have introduced the monolithic application and the microservice styles, and we already know the differences between them. So we can now continue with the microservices as an architectural style in our course. So see you in next section. Bye.